Verstappen is not winning it again.
There were more people watching the likes of like Good on a weekend than people were tuning in to watch the PGA.
Him winning with Ferrari will probably be the most irritating fucking thing in 2026.
That frustration is going to translate into aggression, and aggression is going to cause mistakes.
Jacques Kallis, Garnet Kruger, Jacques Rudolph.
Oh, wow.
A whole bunch of other fat guys.
Bench Opinions. 3 idiots with amateur analysis.
Hello and welcome to Bench Opinions. Today we are going to be talking about the leftovers.
Leftovers. All things outside of the realm of rugby and football, but still sports. If you don't like sports, but you still want to hear our voices or whatever you like about listening to us, whether it's the content or just
the soothing,
just
timber.
Whatever. Yeah, like first episode's your episode. That's what a week. We just fucking talk about life.
Exactly.
Unsolicited advice, sometimes even
commentary,
opinions,
critiques,
observations.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Objections sometimes as well. And then if you do like sport, particularly football and rugby, there's 2 of those episodes that have already come out this week as well. So go back and look at those. And now we just feel like rugby and football is not enough sport. There's more out there.
What else is out there, Dominic?
What should we start with? I think let's start with the one that I probably I'm the least excited about is for Formula One.
The least excited about.
The least out of the
Well, then
the
let me
leftovers.
take it away.
Go for it. Yeah.
I'll tell you some stuff about Formula One. There's not much to tell, to be honest with you.
Surprise.
The season hasn't started yet. The season's only starting on the 16th of March. That will be the first race in Melbourne, Australia. But this last week, there's been some testing on the cars. Obviously, new drivers have gotten the first couple of runs in those new cars, but also your veterans who have moved teams have gotten to experience the new teams, and there's some interesting results that have come out. Essentially, what we can tell from last week's testing is that McLaren is outright the fastest team on the grid currently.
Yep.
Very closely followed by Ferrari and Mercedes, which are both pretty similar. There's not much between them, and Red Bull is struggling. They're not dominating the timetables yet. They are able to put fast times on the board, but most of the time they're trying out new front wings, rear wings, setups, and they're actually struggling to get the car moving.
Okay, since you're a bit more into this, and I you tend to pick up like bits and pieces. I'm going to throw some of those bits and pieces at you, and I want to hear what you think. The first thing is, there is a sense that I've gotten from everything that I've read that Verstappen is not winning it again.
So,
like, sorry, just to continue.
Finish this,
almost a
question,
sense of resignation.
Right.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. I can see that, because I think he's currently so frustrated with the team, and when I say team, I mean Christian Horner, that I think that frustration is going to translate into aggression, and aggression is going to cause mistakes and driving the car off the side of a cliff in obviously figuratively speaking. None of them are driving around the Isle of Man or anything like that. So I think that temperament is going to be his downfall, but also just the leadership is in complete array.
And that's an interesting point, because last year, totally no coincidence that as soon as that drama came out with Horner, and there was a little bit of tension, and it was all a little bit of the results dropped off immediately. And they were actually, I wouldn't say lucky to have the start they had, but that start they had won them the title, because
for sure.
if you took the second half of that season, they were nowhere a lot of the time. So interesting, and maybe that does boil in, or Horner's stopped sexting people, and and now Verstappen is happy, you know.
Well, on top of that, they lost their main engineer, their genius Christian Newey, who's moved over to Aston Martin. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with that team. But that's a massive problem for Red Bull. So the problems that they're having now with their car, I mean, I also don't know enough about Formula One if they've got like the next greatest savant in aerodynamics and car setup coming through that can help them solve those problems in time for the race in 2 weeks' time. But Christian Newey, you knew what you had with him, so.
And another thing that I saw, and this is less of sort of, this is more my, it's something I read, and it, to be very honest, fucking infuriated me. But I read, Hamilton was quoted saying that if he wins this title for Ferrari, it wouldn't be his 8th. It would be his 1st.
Okay.
And
meaning that
he
doesn't deserve the 7 that he got before that.
Meaning that he's fucking singing to the band. You know what I mean? Like,
no, he's pandering to the audience.
He's being this complete, like, oh, I'm so humble and this is like a new start for me. And, I realized the job ahead of me at Ferrari. And like, honestly, I don't wish any ill on anyone, but I hope to God he doesn't win a title at Ferrari because we will never fucking hear the end of it. Especially not if the following year he brings Formula One home to South Africa.
Yeah. I honestly, I think the big problem with him being at Ferrari in terms of if they win it or if he wins it, the narration or the narrative is going to be spun as Hamilton comes to Ferrari and wins the title. But if you actually look at it, Ferrari's been struggling for season upon season. They finally started getting themselves out of a funk last year, or even the year before. They were starting a rebuild. Last year they did really well. They came second in the Constructors' Championship. So the car is really fast. Is he a skillful driver? Absolutely. Can he then, with a technically good car, win a title? Yes, he can. Is that all due down to Is that all because of him? Not necessarily. Like, I think that's then too much credit given to him. It's not like
I'm putting this on the record.
Yeah.
Him winning with Ferrari will probably be the most irritating fucking thing in 2026. Because we will never fucking ever hear the end of it. And he'll like, oh my God. And if he tells me again about how his backstory and all that I'm going to lose my shit. Like, we know that I don't like F1 drivers, but he's right up there.
Right up there with Max.
Yeah, and he'll probably...
Verstappen.
And then when he's like... Because he's now the head of what's this ball that they have in the Met Gala in New York. He's one of the guys. Hope he goes dressed as a... It's the same as what Jaden Smith did. He goes dressed as a Ferrari.
I mean... I was talking to...
Sorry. I'm back. Yeah.
I was talking to...
It's the Hamilton disease.
One of the heads of Pepper Jeans the other day, who now lives in Spain because Pepper Jeans is a Spanish company, but she's an Italian, and for whatever reason we started talking about Ferrari, and she said Hamilton coming to Ferrari is the most exciting thing for Italian fans since Schumacher, which was, how many years ago was that? That must have been like 18 years ago, 20 years ago, something crazy like that. Yeah. So. It is cool for the team and it is cool for the fans. It's obviously a very exciting team. It's a team that has a lot of heritage, a lot of prestige, and he's obviously a very decorated driver. So they deserve to be excited about it. I won't be too excited about it.
Let's see. Before I completely fucking boil over.
Yeah.
Next topic.
The next rich man sport.
I'll talk us through a little bit of golf because that tends to be something that I'm generally the correspondent for on this podcast, I guess, to a certain degree. We'll start with the one that's going to take a little bit less time. We had the South African Open this week, the second oldest golf tournament in the world.
Second oldest?
Yeah, after the Open, the British Open. That is still a professional golf tournament that is still contested. There's a couple of amateur ones that are a bit older.
Right.
But correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows, but it's the second oldest.
Where'd they play?
They played at Durban Country Club.
Okay.
Also quite storied. Durban Country Club consistently was the top golf course in South Africa for a very long time. It's one of the few links golf courses that we have in South Africa. Also in terms of its makeup, very hilly, the greens, the whole style. It's not something you find too much in South Africa. But the course, due to infrastructure around the course and everything and rivers, etc., had been going through a really rough period the last 3 to 4 years. Every time it rained too much, the course would be closed for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because they just the parts of the course that completely flooded.
Oh wow!
And lucky a private investor came in and said, "Hey, here's 50 million rand. And they redid a whole section of the golf course. Also constructed quite a big bog that kind of comes through to collect any water, that residual water. Needless to say, it rained so fucking much that not even that helped. So the first day was delayed by quite a bit. Go check out the footage of that as well. Overnight, from Wednesday to Thursday, because the tournament started on Thursday, the guys were going, and on their practice round on Wednesday, were going through thigh-deep water on some of the holes.
No ways.
To the next day, the course was playable. So they brought in a whole bunch of pumps water into the bog took the water away. So incredible. What did, however, happen is that the rain returned on the weekend, and the tournament was cut to a 54-hole tournament, so 3 rounds instead of 4. And there were 2 players tied on 14 under. Dylan Naidu, 26-year-old South African, not even a full member on the DP World Tour, but a co-sanctioned event. So through his Sunshine Tour status, he got onto the tournament.
Right.
And Laurie Cantor, who couldn't be further from Dylan Naidu if he tried, because he's currently leading the race to Dubai standings. Or no, he's 3rd in the race to Dubai standings. And I think after the weekend is actually leading it because he won earlier this season and finished tied 2nd in another event. He's now broken into the top 50 in the world. So he's going to be playing the Players' Championship coming up.
Okay.
It's also worth mentioning, and possibly could play the Masters because he's in the top 50 of the world. Anyway, they went down the last. They eventually got a window in the afternoon. They prepped just the 18th hole. So the whole ground staff, the whole of Sunday afternoon,
just worked
on the 18th to get the water away. It's also a really short par 4, which is drivable. So that meant they knew that they really only had to focus on the tee boxes, which were fine, and then 60 meters short of that green and the green area. They managed to do that. Both hit really good tee shots, and Dylan Naidu managed to get up and down and win.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Dylan Naidu winning, another first-time winner after our friend Jacques Kruijswijk. We won't get into that too much because the boys covered it, which I'm very happy about. But yeah, insane. What that means for Dylan Naidu is, well, he gets into the British Open this year because of that win. He has exemption this season plus another 2 seasons, which Jacques also got. Game changer for him.
It's life-changing.
Really, yeah. Really humble guy, it seems, and really emotional. So very cool to see.
And is Dylan from Durban?
I think he has he was born in Joburg and grew up there, but I think his family's from Durban. Yeah. And he interestingly enough, he is the, I think, 8th South African winner in a row of the South African Open. So pretty cool on that front. So very cool to see. And this week we have the Joburg Open coming up. Special mention though also to Darren Frigaard, who is someone that I've had the pleasure of meeting a few times, an absolute legend of a guy. Yeah. He's been on tour for 25 years.
25 years.
He's 49 years old. He's 50 in May, and he finished tied 3rd. Also qualified for the Open, so he'll be playing the Open.
Wow.
Last year he qualified for the Open as well, played and had his 18-year-old son caddy for him, making the cut. So very cool to see Darren still slugging it out with the youngsters. Every time I see him, he complains about how far everyone hits the ball. So he's a bit miserable from time to time when it comes to that, but an absolute legend. And also great result for him, you know. And Joburg Open up next. Our friend Jacques playing in it. He played well last year, and it's a course we played in. Did we play it? No, you missed out that day, Houghton.
I did miss out.
But Houghton, of course, in our backyard, our neck of the woods. And interesting to see if maybe Jacques can get close again. It would be quite cool.
Or Dylan.
Or Darren.
No, it might be good to see any of the 3 of them win it. Yes, sounds like South African golf is in good hands.
And another opportunity for people to qualify for the Open. So South African Open and the Joburg Open, both of them are qualifying events for the British Open. So that's a big fish.
We've brought out the standings of the PGA event, and I just see a lot of American flags, and then there's one South African flag poking through there.
Yeah. First thing you said is who the hell are these people? I can get into that in a bit, but at the PGA National, scoring was very low, 19 under. Highsmith ending up winning, and Highsmith made 7 under on the last day to win. So he was a clubhouse leader quite early on in the day. It seemed like the afternoon the guys struggled a little bit. Jake Knapp earlier in the week making 59 in the opening round. So he's one of 12 players in history to break 60 on the PGA Tour.
Oh, wow.
Someone that they've also putting pretty big money on to make the Ryder Cup team later this year, and someone that one should watch.
Young guy?
Young guy. Watch his swing. It's like butter. It's unbelievable.
Oh, Maxi was showing me his swing the other day.
Unbelievable.
Tempo time.
Yeah, really ridiculous.
It doesn't look like he can hit the ball very far, but
ridiculous. Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're shooting 59.
So there you go, yeah. And yes, and to come to your point of who the fuck are these guys? A big problem for the PGA Tour because NBC own the rights to the PGA Tour and numbers are down majorly. And I think it's because of that reason. Look at the leaderboard. No big names.
Yeah.
Look across at LIV. Big names everywhere. And so while LIV might not be taking off, the PGA Tour is really suffering and NBC are looking at the PGA saying, hey, you guys have got to do something about this. So this is why I think another factor in the fact that I think we'll have LIV players, at least the big boys, getting exemptions more often sooner rather than later.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the leaderboard and the top 8 guys are all Americans. Never heard of them before. Then you got Van Rooyen tied 9th and Jordan Spieth, who is obviously a relatively common name. And then you got your Sepp Straka and Minwoo Lee and Shane Lowry all the way down after like 20 oaks that you've never seen before.
Yeah, so that's a lot of the talk around it. And I mean, we've got the Players' Championship coming up this week, as they call it, the 5th major at TPC Sawgrass. What a fucking place. I posted actually in my story just a picture of what the course is looking like. And it's
unreal. When
we were out at Winston, which is the premier golfing resort in Germany, Klaus and I were fortunate enough to play. I was speaking to the greenkeeper there, and he was saying that he went to TPC to help them install a robot. And he said there's not a single blade of grass that's out of place there.
Yeah.
And if you look at the footage, it looks unbelievable. And I think I get goosebumps. I think I'm going to be glued to my screens with the 17th being the famous Island Green. And they literally call it the stadium course. It's just set up for exciting tournament golf. The last stretch is just risk reward at every turn. So
besides the patterns that they mow into the grass, looking at those bunkers, they have got the sharpest, cleanest edges I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody sat there with like nail clippers and cut every grass individually.
Well, this is what the greenkeeper told us. He said that literally people are giving a rake and they're like, this section of the bunker is your job. This is all you're doing.
Yeah.
That's all you do. And they've got an army of like leading greenkeeping staff from around the world that comes to take care of the course during the tournament week. So
unbelievable.
Exactly. That'll be massive. A lot of talk about whether Tiger will play or not. He pulled out of the Genesis Open, which is his own open that he hosts, a couple of weeks ago due to the death of his mother.
Sure.
But he did say that he is going to be playing more major tournaments this year, and it doesn't get bigger outside of the majors than the Players. And there is a 10-year exemption that you get on the Players after you win it.
Okay.
And this is his last year before his expires.
Okay.
So everyone's pretty sure that he's nailed on to play this week, and every tournament Tiger rocks up to is just...
It was massive crowds.
Exactly. So let's see. Good to see.
I watched something not too long ago. What was it? I remember them saying that there were more people watching the likes of like Good on a weekend in terms of viewership than people were tuning in to watch the PGA for that particular event.
I can believe that.
And that's just one YouTube channel. And there's like, I don't know, 50,000 YouTube channels of golf content.
I can believe that. And the interesting thing about golf is that it's an amateur man's game. And that's, if you speak to like purists from Scotland, that's what they always say. They say, screw the fucking pros.
Yeah.
This is an amateur man's game. And I think that's a sign of it. I think that's the perfect sign of it is of course, it's nice to watch these guys, and I'm super into watching pros because I always have. But if you're new to the game, I think you're going to relate to, you're not going to relate to the guys shooting 7 under on a Sunday. You're going to relate to the dudes, messing about.
Talking shit on the golf course, yeah.
Bob Does Sports, for example, like, I relate totally to Joey Coldcuts,
Yeah.
Or even Fat Perez, like, they're the guys that I see walking around at my golf club.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what they're wrestling with at the moment a little bit. Golf, the game has become so, I would say, so much more accessible in the last few years through YouTube, but also after Corona and everything, that they're gonna have to find ways to either. I think the fact that the senior tour, for example, in the States, the Champions Tour draws such crazy numbers and viewership because of that's the golden era of professional golf.
Yeah.
I think that hurts the PGA Tour a little bit because I don't know these guys. They're all robots, man. You see how they swing and like, and
so how are they going to then get the fans back again? Because it seems like just being the pinnacle of the sport is not enough.
I wonder if you're not going to see more Minwoo and DeChambeau's used by the tour to get more, because Minwoo Lee is very popular amongst also content and golfers like that.
I mean, Bryson DeChambeau currently must be the biggest golf sort of name.
And I think once they've hashed out this whole situation with LIV, I think you'll see growth in that direction.
Right.
And possibly the PGA Tour doing even more in terms of content and off sort of your traditional media platforms to try and gain more access. And I think, what is the show? Full Swing.
Full Swing.
I haven't watched season 3 yet. I will get to it. But I think that also does wonders for golf.
Yeah. Do you think doing something as simple as miking the players up, like throughout the entire round, it would be something where it like gives you a little bit more insight into what they're saying, what they're thinking, how they're reacting, getting a little bit more emotion into the game?
100%. I think so. I think you have to go in that direction.
Is it something that as a purist you would want to see?
Yeah. Because I think that makes them more relatable.
Yeah.
If I know what he's going through, and I think you will find a lot more parallels to what you and I are doing on a golf course to them than you think.
Yeah.
It might be on a different level, but the thought patterns, and it grants you access to them. And it also gives you access to them that could be something that you take away and implement on the course yourself. Whether it works or not is another thing. But if you're looking at risk mitigation, for example, on a golf shot, that's something that a lot of amateur golfers don't do. And if you read everything about like, okay, I'm trying to break 80 more regularly, or I'm trying to break 90 more regularly, one of the first things on top there is risk mitigation, And if the pros are doing risk mitigation, amateurs should definitely fucking be doing risk mitigation.
100%.
And those are the kind of things where I think you need to, the gap between the amateur golfer and the pros has to be bridged a little bit. And I think that's what LIV get right. I think they get right because it's 3 rounds. There's fucking music on the course. The broadcast is very laissez-faire, very casual. The guys are dressed in fucking cool, loud outfits. They're in a team, which is more akin to amateur golf.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think the PGA Tour at the moment is suffering a little bit in this period of uncertainty as to whether they're going to, how the merger is going to happen and when it's going to happen and how they're going to welcome the LIV players back and how it's all going to work. But I think you'll see golf grow from strength to strength once they kind of figure all of that out.
I mean, to say the least, there's been a ton of drama in terms of splitting up the leagues into the 2 different leagues, then them sort of like putting each other down, predominantly the PGA putting down LIV, and then turning around on a sixpence and saying like, okay, actually we're going to join forces now. So hopefully this all gets sorted out sooner rather than later. You don't want them to lose even more traction, and that they hopefully come to resolve. Let's talk about some cricket. There's currently the ICC Champions Trophy going on in Pakistan and also partly in Dubai for political reasons, which we will not go into. Dominic and Buxy have already discussed that 2 weeks ago. Big win for South Africa over England, which is usually like one of the cricket giants. But in this tournament, they've really been struggling. Lost to Afghanistan, lost to us quite significantly. I mean, we essentially chased them down in just under 30 overs after they put up a total of 179, which really wasn't much of a total.
Yeah, look, one thing we didn't touch on with India being based in the UAE is the advantage that they have being in the same place, practicing on the same facilities, playing in the same ground, on the same pitches. And then that
not
has
having to travel.
Yeah, Rassi van der Dussen came out and said it is, I mean, you're an idiot, not to realize that it is an advantage.
Yeah, they should be forced to have to fly home every week.
Yeah, or just fly to Pakistan and like don't leave the airport, but just
just so that they get the miles.
Well, I mean, you told me a story now that the South African team actually, in anticipation of possibly having to play India and the UAE in the semi-final, which they've managed to avoid now, actually flew to the UAE.
Yeah,
and then found out, oh shit, we're playing New Zealand, and flew back. So I think it's a bit farcical. I get why they're doing it, but I think to myself then, hey, if we can't host a tournament in a country completely with everyone there, then maybe that country just isn't ready to host it yet.
Yeah.
Sad as it may be, but that is what it is. it's great that Test cricket's back in Pakistan, that cricket's even being hosted in Pakistan. I think that's great for the game. But maybe...
But then you look at the England and the South Africa game. Did you see how many people were in the crowd, in the stadium?
Yeah, not abnormal though, I must say.
But then, like, why are they hosting a tournament if the only time fans come out is to watch Pakistan and not any of the other teams?
True. Not abnormal though, I must say, classically for neutral games, because back in the day, it's not as popular anymore. Back in the day, you used to have a lot of tri-series in places like India and Pakistan. So you'd have three teams travel somewhere, and then they do a little round robin tri-series, and it was very common to see stadiums empty. And to be honest, I also think if Pakistan, West Indies, and South Africa played a tri-series in South Africa, and the West Indies played Pakistan, I don't know how big the crowd would be. If we're being...
I would be surprised if there were more than 100 people in that stadium.
Fair enough. But anyway, let's get to the results. England in tatters, though, and that's why I'm not surprised we beat them. I think they're having some serious identity crises. Their captain resigned.
Yeah,
Joss Butler. Serious. They just got thrashed. They haven't won an ODI this year yet, which is quite weird because they've played quite a lot of cricket. So a bit of tatters there, and McCullum coming out quite strange and saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out." But I'm like, you're the coach. Like, isn't this on you as well?
You should have figured it out already.
But the regular drama that's involved with English cricket, there's also a lot of players there that they've talked up for years that just aren't. Geoffrey Archer, for example, everyone fucking talks about Geoffrey Archer. Non-event. So, but great performance by our boys.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried about the continued selection of a couple of the guys. I don't think Lungi and Gidi should be there, to be honest. Particularly not at the expense of someone like Mapaka. Yeah. I don't think you're losing anything in playing Mapaka instead of Ngidi. And Mapaka's just going to learn and grow from it. So I don't know if it was just something they did now in the group phase. Maybe Mapaka's got a niggle or something. Corbin Bosch being on the bench, don't understand it. He's an all-rounder and a very good all-rounder at that. Particularly ahead of someone like Mulder. I think he's just a better pick than Mulder. Can't forget quotas. Very understandable. So that's why I've gone very clearly for like. I don't see how Vian Mulder is a better option than Corbin Bosch. But we're through to the semi-finals.
Yep.
Including India, Australia, and New Zealand. India beating New Zealand quite comfortably, which is one of the reasons why I'm very glad we avoided India in the semis. And I pray that Australia can beat India.
That would be very nice.
Yeah.
That would be very good for us. Yeah.
Because Australia have to travel back to Pakistan. We're still in Pakistan.
Finally, we don't have to travel.
Yeah. Australia also haven't played much cricket. They had a couple of games rained out.
Yeah.
Which could also be to our advantage because we've played.
That they're not as warmed up.
We had one game rained out, but we would think we're probably a little bit better versed as the conditions, and I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's see how that goes. Man of the match went to Marco Jansen.
Single-handedly.
That guy is playing unreal cricket. Yeah. I mean, both in the SA20s and now in this competition as well.
Yeah, his continued use of the somewhat shorter ball is with his height is really reminds me a lot of Morkel in that sense. Like he hits the pitch at a length, but because of his height, he kind of gets that steep bounce. And even in a place like Pakistan, where you wouldn't really associate it with, you would rather associate it with a lot of reverse swing bowling and low skiddy bowling as opposed to like your traditional South African, Australian, English conditions. Even there, it's effective. So I think if we do go on to win, I think it'll definitely be off the back of really good performances by him. Yeah.
We know what you would like to have happen in terms of which teams will be going through to the final and then probably winning it. But what do you think is going to happen?
I called it early on when I was with Maxi. I said I called New Zealand and I had a feeling about New Zealand. So I think I'm going to stick to that.
So you think New Zealand's going to beat South Africa? Who's going to win in the India-Australia game?
Because I don't see anyone beating India in the final in Dubai. I think Australia will shock India in Dubai.
Okay.
And I think New Zealand will beat Australia in the final.
All right, there you have it.
Let's see.
That's the prediction.
What do you think is going to happen?
No, I think South Africa is going to beat New Zealand.
Okay, nice.
And I think India is going to beat Australia.
Okay.
And then I think South Africa is going to upset
Nice.
India in Dubai.
All right. Okay.
I hope. It would be really nice for us.
You know, the fucking road to hell was paved in good intentions, as they say. You know?
100%. But it's very exciting. Let's see what happens.
When is the final? Must be on Sunday or Sunday.
Well, India, Australia is tomorrow.
And then
so it
on
must
Wednesday
be,
we
must
play.
be Wednesday.
We play. I think
it must be Thursday then.
I would think it's a Saturday because I think Sunday is the first official work day
Let me just
in
scroll down.
Pakistan, similar to. It's Sunday. So what do I know?
The 5th of March
Is our semi-final against New
is
Zealand,
our semi-final, yeah.
and then the 9th Sunday. So
So there you go. Now we've got something to do on Sunday.
true.
Unless you already have something to do.
I wanted to maybe play more golf on Sunday, but
You might have to fight Zonia if you can. Maybe you can just stream it on your phone whilst you're playing
possibly or put on Radio 2000. You know.
Radio 2000. Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway, those are the 3 sports that we have chosen to talk about in the leftovers.
there you go.
Is there a 4th one? I don't think so.
No, there was one thing that I discovered, and everyone should check it out. There's this super random Masters series going on in India at the moment, cricket. And it's just all these old cricketers playing against each other internationally.
Okay.
So South Africa played against India and lost, unfortunately, but it was Jacques Kallis, Garnet Kruger, Jacques Rudolph,
Oh, wow.
a whole bunch of other fat guys and fat old guys. And then against Tendulkar and all those.
Sasha,
yeah. Tendulkar and Yuvraj Singh and stuff. The fucking funniest thing to watch is the West Indies. It's so fucking good.
Okay.
They're all either still behemoths, but
Yeah.
like Chris Gale looks like a slumlord voodoo doctor.
Okay.
And then you've just got these fucking massive men trying to bowling pies, eating pies, all of the above.
Is Brian Lara in there?
He is.
Is he?
And it's so strange because it's a T20 format. And Brian Lara his time was before T20 and he was known for batting notoriously fucking slowly.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's doing there.
Well, he's had time to adjust.
But there's some absolute crackers. It honestly is like a video game fantasy team, that West Indies side. Someone like Suleiman Ben, who's 2 meters 12. And he's just this it's just so, you have to, Ravi Rampal. It's too good. You have to they show all the highlights on YouTube. I think it's still quite early on in the tournaments. Sri Lanka are in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Australia are in it. South Africa, India. I think that might be it. West Indies. It's so good. Watch it. So if you want a blast from the past, it's really good.
It's like the old but gold
Cricket.
all-star
I think
teams.
it's called the International Masters Cricket, something like that. There's definitely Masters in there.
Okay.
There you
Well,
go.
there you go. There's the top tip of the day.
Yeah.
Go check that out and let us know in the comments if you enjoyed it or not, or if Dominic doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. If you
actually
don't enjoy the West Indian team, there's something fucking wrong with you.
It sounds like a hit.
There you go.
Dominic, thanks for another week of chatting to me.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we can do this as a 3-piece next week.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, no promises, but 2 of us will be here at least to do the podcast. So,
Or maybe we fucking throw a real cat amongst the pigeons and I just sit here with a microphone on my own.
from the 3 of us, I think you're the one who's most likely to succeed.
I'm the
in
one
that
that's
regard.
a little bit fucking crazy enough to do it.
Yeah. I think I would feel a little bit too self-conscious, and I think Maxi would just
Maxi would. He would be like, it's a stupid idea.
just not doing it.
Yeah. And I'm stupid and dumb enough to do it. So
Yeah. I'd probably write down a monologue and then start talking, or at least give myself bullet points and then go through. Whereas you could just free.
And I reckon every now and then you'll kind of get up and be like, oh fuck, one more thing, and then sit back down. I think that's your vibe.
Yeah, that's actually on that note. No, I'm joking. But thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends.
Arrivederci.
Peace out.